everyone, so today I am here to do my spring book haul. Now, I have actually bought a decent amount of books in the month of what? Probably like March, April, May, June-ish. I would say that's been about the like half of March and then like 3/4 of June. I have bought, let me see, let's do some math, 25 books. And a lot of these you guys will have already seen because I have talked about them and or read them. And actually, sorry, okay, I'll only be talking about 23 because 2 of them were pre-orders that have not arrived yet. But yeah, let's just get on into my list of books that I bought in the last like 3-ish months. So the first book I'm going to talk about is one that I've talked so much about, I feel like, low-key. I have discussed this in many videos, in like vlogs, in like mid-year book freakout tag, like it's in a, I think I got it in a vlog, like a book shopping in Boston vlog, but I loved it, so that's great. And that is Flights by Olga Tokarczuk. This is like my new favorite author of the year. I have another one of her books later on in this video, but I absolutely love this book. Obviously I already read it. I read it basically the moment I got it, and it was so good. The writing in this, beautiful. This woman knows how to write, and it's basically like this book's very, very hard to describe. It basically follows a unnamed narrator person who flies a lot and travels a lot, and it's kind of all about traveling and the feeling you get traveling, and also how all people are anonymous when traveling. And yeah, I loved it. Great book. I honestly really need to remember that this is not a wrap-up, but because so many of these books are ones that I just read and already and loved. But the next one is The Perfect World of Miwako Sumida by Clarissa Guanawan, and this is a book that, again, I've already read and I loved it. I also gave this 5 stars. These are 2 5-star books. Clarissa Guanawan wrote my favorite book of 2018, I think it was, like one of them, Rainbirds, and of course I was highly anticipating her newest release, her second book, and I loved it. If you are a fan of Murakami, you should be checking out this author. I would compare Rainbirds to Wind Up Bird Chronicle, and then I would compare The Perfect World of Miwako Sumida to Norwegian Wood. But I liked this more than Norwegian Wood. Oh, I love this book so much. Like, it's so good. Loved it so much. Another 2 books that I've already talked about in a 3 Classics review that I'll link up above, Lolita and The Stranger by Albert Camus. I got both of these in a thrift books order. I also bought The Sound and the Fury, but I really don't think I'm going to read that, so I gave it to my boyfriend. But I bought these both off of thrift books at the same time, and I've already read them. See, I'm very good at reading the books that I buy. That's why my book hauls aren't that crazy. And then I also have Docile by K.M. Spara. This is a book that I absolutely loved. I listened to the audiobook and just loved so much that I immediately picked up a physical edition. This is a book that is definitely going to be on my favorites list. It is a very, very difficult read, and I definitely can see a lot of people reading the first 100 pages of this thinking it's problematic and throwing it away. But this basically follows a world where people become indentured servants to like work off debt, and this one man becomes a servant to this man who kind of like made this drug called Docilin that makes people docile, and he refuses it, and there's so much gaslighting and manipulation and abuse, and it's very, very difficult to read, but that's the point. That is the point of this book. I hate when people say a book is bad because it makes you uncomfortable. On a very similar note, another book that's only going to be my favorite of the year, My Dark Vanessa by Kate Elizabeth Russell. Very similar idea to Docile. Very, very difficult book to read just because it is so different from how like I personally think, but it was fascinating and so interesting to read. This follows a young girl, 2 timelines of a girl when she was in high school and she was being sexually abused by her teacher because they had a relationship going, but she thought it was fine because she wanted it, like it was consensual. And then later when she is older and she still believes that her sexual abuser, her teacher, was in love with her, so it's fine, and a bunch of other girls are stepping forward to kind of get him in trouble during the Me Too movement, and she refuses to help them because she believes that it wasn't sexual abuse. Very interesting story, very, very difficult read. Oh, also, because I know people ask, this is the UK paperback. I made a very special order to get it. And then I made quite a few orders for classics. If you guys didn't know, I've been reading more classics recently, been doing lots of videos on it. But let's see, I have, ooh, come on. They're very stuck in here. Middlemarch by George Eliot, and this is one that I actually have not read yet, but I picked it up because it's a book that always pops up when I'm looking up Victorian literature, and very, very interested in this one. I haven't read this one yet only because it seems very similar to Bleak House, which I'm going to talk about next, which I did read. So I just didn't want to read two absolutely massive books that are very similar side by side. But yeah, I did get Bleak House by Charles Dickens, and I did read this one, and I have a whole video on it. I think I also did a whole I reviewed it in a 3 Classics review video, and I think I also have a vlog where I was reading this, and yeah, really enjoyed it, but it was a long one to get through, so I needed a little bit of a break. Next up, I bought Shirley by Charlotte Bronte. Basically, I was trying to read the other Bronte sisters books, but I seem to just like Charlotte Bronte, so I was interested to just pick up something else by her because I did love Jane Eyre so much. And some people say that Shirley is even better than Jane Eyre, which I am so here for. So I'm really, really excited to pick this one up, and yeah, because I love Jane Eyre and I was not expecting to at all. So if people are saying this one's better, I am very, very curious. I also have The Brothers Karamazov by Fyodor Dostoevsky, and this is, I honestly picked up this and The Idiot at the same time. I read The Idiot, and I'm very, very excited to read this book. I hear that it is definitely one that you absolutely love or absolutely hate, and I actually had someone tell me that, because I said that, I was like, it seems like a book that a lot of people like either really love or really hate, and she said that it depends, every single person will be able to identify with one of the brothers, and depending on which brother you identify with, you're going to love or hate it, and that makes me so curious. Like, I am so interested in picking this one up. This will probably be one that I pick up soon. I hate to like say soon because I am going on vacation for 3 weeks and not bringing this, but maybe after vacation. I'm very, very keen to try out some more Dostoevsky after loving The Idiot so much, like one of my favorite books of the year. And so I'm really excited to try something else to see if it was a fluke or not. And then obviously at the same time I picked up The Idiot, which I have already read and talked about in a reviewing 3 Classics, and I love this book. Amazing, amazing book. And also, I get asked about those editions all the time. They are the Wordsworth Classics? The Wordsworth Classics, and they are insanely cheap on American Amazon. They're literally like between $4 and $5, brand new. So they're really, really cheap. I also picked up the Inferno by Dante. Basically, I picked up this book at the same time I picked up Paradise, because I've always had Purgatory, didn't realize it was book 2 because I'm dumb. And yeah, Inferno came from Thrift Books and was so destroyed I couldn't even read it. I usually get books that are in perfectly fine condition from Thrift Books, but it was the first time I literally couldn't even donate it. Like, I threw it away. So I had to order myself a new copy of it, and this is the beautiful copy that matches my Purgatory. Unfortunately, I actually had a couple of very awesome subscribers who I was saying that I really wanted the 3rd book in this edition. It doesn't exist. Like 4 people DM'd me or like commented saying that it does not exist. The publisher literally only published these 2 books, and I'm so angry about it because they are gorgeous. So that sucks, but I did pick up Inferno in this edition. Next up, I picked up The Lonesome Bodybuilder by Yukiko Matoya. This is a short story collection from Japan, and if you guys saw my video about my Japanese, Chinese, and Korean literature TBR, I have so many books I want to read from those countries that have been translated from those languages, and that I'm so interested in, and I'm finally just caving and starting to buy some because I always put off buying books. I don't know. Even if I really want to read them, I always put it off. So I finally just bit the billet and started buying a couple that I really want, and I really am excited to read this. I'm really hoping to just somehow get into short story collections, and I hope this is the one that will do it, especially because I'm so interested in the short story that gave this collection its name. So this is super cute, but I am very jealous of people who live in other countries that have it under a different name. I think it's like Picnic in the Snow or something like that, and that cover is even more beautiful. So I also have At Home in Japan by Rebecca Ottawa, and this is a nonfiction book about the author who decided to move to the rural countryside of Japan and live there, and she was from America, but her family was from Japan, I'm pretty sure, and she wrote this whole little kind of like memoir-y, almost like educational piece about rural Japan, and I'm very interested in this because I feel like most of what I read about is in Tokyo. It's not, or like at least the city or the suburbs, so I don't really know much about rural Japan, so I'm very interested. I also picked up The Magical Language of Others by Ko Un-ji, and this is a memoir about a Korean American woman, and I thought this book was gorgeous, and a Korean memoir, and I don't know, I picked it up. It's great. I also have Kim Jiyoung, born in 1982, which is another piece of Korean translated literature that I'm very, very excited about. This follows a young millennial in Seoul, South Korea, and I'm a millennial, so hashtag relatable. Since we last spoke about manga, because I think I did a whole manga haul, I've picked up a couple volumes of manga, but I can't remember which ones I've shown you guys, but I'm up to Komi Can't Communicate Volume 7. I also up to Beastars Volume 6, so been picking these up as they come out. Those are the only two series that I'm currently like keeping up with as they release every 2 months or so, and yeah, I've just been picking them up as they come out and reading them, so. I also have Be Book and Me by Kim Sagwa. This is another piece of Korean translated literature, and this is about two young boys who grow up in Seoul together. And I've mentioned every time I hold this book up, I have written an essay for my graduate class that focused a lot on Korean masculinity, so I'm interested in reading a piece of literature actually from Korea about male friendships, I guess. And I also just picked up The Factory by Hiroko Oyamada. This is a book that the second I put it on my Goodreads, everyone was messaging me being like, Kate, you are going to love this book. So I saw it at the bookstore and I decided to just pick it up. It is a teeny tiny little volume and I'm so excited. Expecting a lot of commentary on capitalism. Very excited. And probably Amazon, because all of the commentary on capitalism seems to stem from Amazon. And I also have Drive Your Plow Over the Bones of the Dead by Olga Tokarczuk, who also wrote Flights, which was earlier in this book haul. And yeah, I picked this up because I read this on audio and absolutely loved it. It might have beaten The Immortalist as my favorite book of the year, so I know I had to pick up a physical copy and I'm probably going to be rereading and annotating it, but yeah, I love this. It's so like sleek and just pretty and so eye-catching, so very happy about that one. And last but not least, I of course have A Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes by Suzanne Collins. Of course I picked this up, it's the newest Hunger Games book. Everyone knows what this is. I think I'm like one of the few people in the world who enjoyed this book. Again, kind of like Docile and by Dark Vanessa. The point of this book is to be uncomfortable, and I don't think people understand that at all. They're like, oh, I want a fun book about the Hunger Games. Like, no, this is supposed to be uncomfortable to read. And it did it great, and I loved it. I'm going to be talking about it in my June wrap-up, but I really, really enjoyed this book. So I picked it up. My mom is currently reading it, and it definitely made me feel justified buying this book because I was like, I'm gonna read it, my parents are gonna read it, my boyfriend's gonna read it, everyone's gonna borrow it, so it will definitely get its use. But yeah, my mom's currently reading it. It doesn't look like she's that far. How far is she? What? Who can just stop in the middle of a page? She's not even a page break or a chapter. My mom's a weird woman. But anyways, yeah. Those are all of the books that I bought in spring. It's actually a lot less than I thought it was going to be. I think I did my math wrong. I was trying to tell you guys how many books I bought this month through math, mental math, and we all know I'm not very good at math. So I also definitely like unhauled a couple of these books already. So, and a couple aren't here yet. So that's what you get. These are the books that I bought in the last couple of months. But anyways, I hope you guys all enjoyed this haul video, and definitely tell me if you've read any of these books and what you thought about them. And anyways, I love you all, and I'll see y'all soon. Bye!